In this video, we'll walk through all of the audio settings on Pioneer's DEH-S1200UB. So from any source, and I'm on the CD player source right now, could be anyone, I'm going to press in on the volume control, and let's roll along here until we find the audio menu. Here's audio, and we'll press enter. And we start off with the fader control, and the fader control allows us to push the music from the front to the back of the system. So let's press enter to get into there. And here you can see we're at the center. We can fade forward to the front a little using the volume control, or roll it the other way and fade back toward the rear. So for right now, I'm going to set that up at 0 or in the center. And we'll hit the back button. Let's roll over to the next setting, which is our balance control, or right to left. And we'll press enter here. Again, we start off in the center, but we can push the image over more toward the right, or we can use the volume control to push that image over toward the left. Again, for right now, I'm going to set this at 0 or right in the center. Let's go back. Next up is our EQ settings, and there is a full EQ video explaining how to use the Equalizer button down here and to use the Custom 1 and Custom 2 settings on the Equalizer. Be sure to check out the Equalizer video for DEH-S1200UB. Let's roll over to the next setting, which is our loudness control. And loudness has 3 settings here. We can switch it off. We can set it to low, mid, or high level. And loudness control is typically used in low volume situations where the lower frequencies tend to roll off a little bit. You can switch the loudness on and hear those lower frequencies a little bit better. For best listening, as you turn the volume up, it's often best to turn the loudness system off. So let's roll over to the next setting, which is our subwoofer control, and you can see that right now the subwoofer control is switched off. So for right now, I'm going to roll over to the next setting, and you see the next setting here is bass boost when we have subwoofer control switched off. So let's switch subwoofer control on now, and we can choose to switch it on in its normal setting, normal phase, or reverse phase. Touch it one more time, and the subwoofer is again switched off. For right now, I'm going to switch the subwoofer on and into its normal phase, but be sure to check both the normal and the reverse phase in your vehicle. You may find that one of them sounds significantly better than the other. Let's roll over to the next setting here, which is our subwoofer control. Again, you're only going to find the subwoofer control setting when the subwoofer system is switched on. Let's press enter here. The first part of this is the crossover or the low pass filter, and we can choose frequencies from 50 Hertz all the way up to 200 Hertz. For the crossover for our subwoofer or our low pass filter. For our subwoofer, for right now, I'm going to choose 80 Hertz as my crossover or low pass filter. That means frequencies from 80 Hertz and lower will be played back by the subwoofer. If I press in on the volume control, I can choose to boost or cut my subwoofer output here. I can make it a little louder or a little quieter as compared to the other output in the system. For right now, I'm going to leave it at a -3. And I'll press in on the volume control again, and we can change the slope of the subwoofer. Right now we've chosen an 80 Hertz crossover or low pass filter. We can choose to make that a 12 or 24 decibels per octave slope at that 80 Hertz crossover point. For right now, I'll choose a 12 dB slope for my subwoofer. When I'm done making my adjustments there, I'll go back. And we'll roll over to the next setting, which is the bass boost. Now, the bass boost setting right here is directly connected to this button that you see on the face of the radio, this big bass button out here. So let's press in on the volume control here, and we're going to switch this thing on to, we'll say +2 for right now, and we'll go back. So you can see bass boost, and if I press enter here, we are at +2. So I'm going to go back, and let's exit all the way out of this menu now, all the way out to the source, which is the CD playing out here. And we have the bass button. If I hit the bass button, we've switched bass off. And if I hit that bass button again, you can see that we switched bass on. So for right now, I'm going to switch bass off, and let's go back into our audio menu and check that bass boost setting. So here is the audio menu, and we'll press enter, and there's bass boost. Let's press enter to check it. It's at 0. Remember, we set it at +2, but we switched it on and off with this bass button out here. If I exit out and I hit the bass button again, and bass is switched on, let's go back into the audio menu now. and back into bass boost, and you'll see we're at +2 again. So this is an on-off switch for the bass boost setting that you see right here. Let's roll over to the next setting, which is our high-pass filter. So the high-pass filter affects the speaker outputs and the frequencies above what we choose for the high-pass filter setting, or what is played back by our speakers. So let's press in on the volume control, and right now you can see that the high-pass filter is switched off. That means that full range is playing from our speakers, but maybe we want to filter out those low frequencies because we have a subwoofer in the system. We'll roll over here, and you can see that we've switched the high-pass filter on at 50 hertz. So we can go anywhere from off to 50 hertz all the way up to 200 hertz. There's 200 hertz. If we roll past 200 hertz, we come back around to switching the high-pass filter off and back into 50. So I'm going to change this to 80 hertz right now. And if I press in on the volume control, you can see I can change my slope between 12 and 24 decibels per octave at that crossover point or filter point of 80 hertz. When you're done making your adjustments there, I'm going to go back and roll over to the next setting, which is the source level adjuster, or SLA. Now, if you'll remember, when we started this video, we were on the CD source, right, the CD player, and we can make the CD player a little louder or a little quieter as compared to FM. We can also do that with the USB source under SLA, make that a little softer or a little louder as compared to FM, and we can also do it with the auxiliary input right here, a little softer or a little louder as compared to FM. When you're on the AM/FM radio source, the SLA function here is not available. It's not available because when you're adjusting the source level adjuster, they're all compared to FM, AM/FM radio. So let's enter the SLA setting here, and right now the source level adjuster for CD is set to 0. If I want to make that a little louder as compared to FM, I can do that, or I can make it a little quieter as compared to FM. And the idea here is very simple. As I switch between sources from CD to AM/FM to USB to auxiliary, I shouldn't hear a big steep jump in the volume up or down from one source to the next, and use that SLA system to flatten out the change in volume between the sources. So I'm going to go back again and roll over to the next setting, which is back around to our fader control. When you're done making your adjustments, you can use the band button to escape.